Now to Charly Boy, one of Nigeria's most popular and independent-minded entertainment and good governance activists, who leads a dramatic, multi-layered life full of exoticism and well known for his fighting spirit and his unwavering courage. But after he was diagnosed with prostate cancer and had to battle not just the disease but depression as well, both of which he was able to recover from completely, he's now turning his attention to issues of both physical and mental health, especially for men, and is determined to speak openly and honestly about what happened to him, even if it is extremely difficult. He started the Charly Boy Foundation, which is a non-profit organization dedicated to addressing critical health issues affecting Nigerian men. He says he wants politicians and healthcare experts to prioritize investment in mental health, as well as the diagnosis and treatment of prostate cancer and diabetes, so that more men can get the help they need. He believes that these are some of the most important issues of the day in Nigeria. So how can he help to get men to care more about both their mental and their physical health?
Being able to be true to yourself is one of the strongest components of good mental health. Yeah. You see stress, you see anxiety, you see depression. It is caused when we really don't know who we are and then we start living to please others. This is not a way to invite more wahala into our lives. Yes. A simple hygiene about neatness and cleanliness is not a function of how rich or poor you are, but that of mentality and principle. Una sabi say mental wellness is about maintaining individual well-being.
Okay, that's just a little snippet from Charly Boy there. And for more on this, I'm joined now from our studios in Lagos by the singer, songwriter, TV presenter, actor, producer, political activist turned wellness advocate, the inimitable Charly Boy. Charly Boy, thank you. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Although the reason you're here, as you've emphasized to me, is a very important one, but it's always interesting the way that you react with a bit of mirth to these situations. And please accept our apologies for a little bit of delay getting to you. We had a challenge of getting Mr. Kwankwaso in and getting him done and so on. But just remind us why you've turned your attention to address critical health issues affecting men in this country.
Simple, Charles. For all what I've been through last year, what I went through last year, I would rather not a lot of men go through that, okay? And it was a big lesson for me to know, to study and get deeper into my medical challenges. And I was very tickled because I've always been open, upfront with whatever, I'm having problems with, I'm pretty much an open person. So it was easy for me to be on television and to share my experience with, Nigerians, fellow Nigerians. And what came out of all of that was the rush when I had hundreds and hundreds of men call me almost every other day to talk to me, ask me questions. From then on, I believe that there's quite a lot I can do about this condition. And that was when I started on my own to encourage a lot of men who were calling me, who were coming to me, to be more open, to be more trusting. We have this thing, men don't cry, and so on and so forth. Men are supposed to hide their emotions. I don't believe in that. If anything affects me in a very bad way, I cry. I cry. I find who to confide in, who to talk to about it. And that's exactly what I'm doing with the creation of this awareness, because I found that most Nigerian men are too secretive, they're too close, they like to endure. They don't want anybody to see them going through any kind of pain whatsoever. For them it's a man's thing, But I think that's the beginning of a lot of problems. So actually what I'm trying to do in a roundabout way is to encourage men to force over themselves, take care of themselves, make sure they have an eagle eye on what's happening inside, Basically, that's it, Charles.
Well, thank you for that. And I think that what you're doing is something very meaningful and very special. Somebody said that being trapped in a cycle of bad governance, irresponsible leaders, poverty, insecurity, etc., in Nigeria was like being in a vortex circling a drain that's very hard to get out of. And that leads to serious panic, anxiety, which are all mental health conditions. And that ultimately leads to, some kind of terminal decline. And that's why you're focusing specifically on men, isn't it? That's one of because they carry a lot of that burden.
Precisely. Men, I've always said that women are stronger emotionally than men, because men find it very difficult to go through this kind of stormy weather and still be able to be a man, to provide and do all those things that men are known for, And where it first attacks is here, up here. Because when you start having performance anxiety, then that's a whole lot of problem for you as a man. You understand? So as the area father and someone who's gone through all of this, is just to keep talking to men on a daily, to get them to, I don't know. I mean, I've met strangers who have opened up to me, who tells me a lot of intimate things, but yet they can't see, they don't have a friend they can confide in. And I'm surprised to know that most of them are not even talking to their wives about their problems. So, that's kind of sad.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, Charlie boy, that you mention your wives there, because I think I read you saying somewhere that a lot of these things affect the home and the family. Obviously, when the man is affected with sort of mental health things or so. But I mean, you've managed to stay with your wife, in spite of whatever challenges that you've had, for 47 years. I mean, what would be your advice?
I don't know how that came about, Charles. I can't really say for sure, but yeah, we all die here, kind of, My advice is that, because your partner should be your best friend. I mean, that's the first port of call. That's where you start to unburden yourself, without feeling that, you're becoming less of a man by being open, by being sincere and truthful about the challenges that you go through, And then, this is exactly why I'm setting this thing up. So if your wife is not easily around, or you don't have a friend you can confide in, there will be a hot number. Call Charlie boy, and then we can talk man to man, The fewer people I can get to start being fussy and finicky about their well-being, the better for me, So that's why I'm here promoting this.
And I have to say, Charlie boy, I mean, we're looking at that video on the screen right now with you and your wife, and I think you're trying to illustrate the fact that even when you have a problem, you can sort of, because I mean, I can see the way she's looking at you. She's obviously not very happy. But I have to say that a lot of people are going to end up looking at the soup that you were eating, which looked like a salad soup. and I rather favor salad soup, I have to say. So looking at that, I'm getting a little bit
yes, you got it right.
hungry here. Yeah, but sorry, go on.
Yeah, well, you know, somebody called me, I think that was yesterday, and said, "Is this how you guys live?" I said, "Not really." I said, "But you guys were blending so much, you were in tune with each other." I said, "Well, that's just a skit." And I say, I'll tell you something, you know, from all the skits that I do, that I'm also learning something from it, because that's how I see our relationship based on our friendship, okay? I don't think that you can have any kind of longevity whatsoever if it is not built on a solid foundation of friendship. And fortunately for me, that's what I have with my wife. So it makes things a bit easier for us in terms of communication, in terms of trust, in terms of respect, and so on and so forth, you know?
Yeah,
that's exactly what I would do.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean,
if I'm upset with her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And a great illustration, that video is a great illustration. But I mean, beyond that, you know, you talk about one of the things in your foundation is the issue of, I mean, as you said, mental health. And a big part of mental health is stress. And I imagine that you've had a long bout with stress, going all the way back to when you were growing up under your father.
Oh, yeah. But I've always been a big boy. I've always known how to handle myself. And I'm learning to deal with it better. You know, the past 20, 30 years, I was terrible at dealing with my stress, my depression, you know, and so on. But I think because of my openness, and because I have a few mad friends, mad in the sense that they're young people who are making a difference, okay, in the scheme of things. So I'm always talking to them. And Charles, I've been privileged to meet a lot of outstanding young Nigerians. And that is why I always say that the salvation of this country lies in the hands of its exceptional people. And who are those people? As far as I'm concerned, young people. Okay? So, yeah.
And we're unfortunately, the time is galloping ahead. And I really want you to talk a little bit, albeit briefly, about the Charly Boy Foundation.
Well, after my medical challenge, I decided, actually that idea wasn't original, I must confess. You know, it was one of my friends, and I'll say his name because I thank God that he pointed me in that direction, what to do. He said, why don't you, I've seen the way you've discussed your problem, even on national television. I think this is what you should do, you know, in your retirement. Just create more awareness so you get more men out of this jigsaw puzzle and get them to really pay attention to their health. And we've done everything. Everything has been formalized. My job, actually, my only job is to create the awareness needed. We are partnering with a few hospitals, doctors, and what we're hoping to do is to be able to raise some kind of money so we can help those who probably may not have all the money. Not that we're going to pay the hospital bill. I'm not saying that, please get that straight. We're going to help them somehow to be able to get the initial testing. And when we, by a ballot or at random, will pick the patients, you know, who we can truly help to offset their hospital bills and so on and so forth. Our own is to direct the traffic to where they should go for help, for the different things that are troubling them.
Well, I want to congratulate you very much indeed for what you're doing in that direction. I think that's a very good idea, that Charly Boy Foundation. And let's try and get the word out there a lot more, and hope that you can sort of keep talking to the media and the rest of us about what is going on.
That's why I'm here, Charles.
Yes, and I want to thank you very much indeed, Charles. Charles Oputa, of course, Charly Boy, as he is known, is a singer, songwriter, producer, political activist turned wellness advocate, and he is talking to me there from our studios in Lagos.